Good morning and welcome to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. I hope everyone is doing well on this Tuesday morning. It is match day. We do play Bayern Munich in the final game of our Champions League group stage. But before we give a bit of a preview on that, there's lots of other stuff relating to Manchester United to discuss this morning. Please do me a massive favour and smash a like on the video, and please do subscribe to the channel if this is your first time watching. We're only 8 subscribers away from 21,000, so please do go and subscribe. Let's try and hit that by the end of today's video. On the show today, we are going to be talking about Mason Greenwood and what the future looks like for Mason Greenwood. Obviously, I'll be getting you guys' opinions as always. I'm inviting you to have your say in the comment section. We'll also be talking a little bit about injuries with a massive injury boost, a double injury boost, in fact, which of course we will get into. And of course, we will be previewing the huge match tonight against Bayern Munich. As always, I invite you to get in the comment section, have your say on all things Manchester United, and also please let me know what your score predictions are for the game against Bayern Munich. I'll give mine to start with, just to get the show off to a start. I think we're going to beat them, which I know everybody's probably sat there thinking, have you woken up yet? Are you still asleep? That's fine. Obviously, it's just an opinion. I think we're going to beat them, but I think that in the Galatasaray-Copenhagen game, I think one of those two teams will win, which ultimately means we will go out. Let me re-explain that, because maybe that sounds a little bit confusing for some people who don't know kind of the breakdown of the group at the moment. We're currently on 4 points. Galatasaray are on 5 and Copenhagen are on 5. So the only way that we can qualify for the next round is if we beat Bayern Munich, which I think we will do tonight. I think we will see a reaction. I think we're the type of team who will win one game and then lose the next game. Win one game, lose the next game. And I think tonight will be the game we win. So I think we'll win tonight. But I think in the other match, the Copenhagen-Galatasaray match, we need that game to be a draw. If either Copenhagen or Galatasaray win, we go out, regardless of whether we win or not. So if we were to win tonight, we'd have 7 points. If Copenhagen and Galatasaray drew, we'd have 6 points. So we'd go through. So I think we'll win, but I think we still won't qualify. And I think we're going to end up in the Europa League spot. That's my prediction. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Score prediction-wise, I'm going to go 2-1. I think we nearly beat them at the Allianz Arena over in Munich. I think we looked quite good in that match. So They just lost 5-1 as well, didn't they, Bayern Munich on the weekend? And they've got nothing to play for, ultimately, other than pride, which I know Bayern Munich, I don't think they've lost a Champions League game for like 5 years or something, is it? So they will want to win this game just for their own kind of, record. But I think it means way more to Manchester United. Like, this group stage has been an absolute embarrassment for Manchester United, and they've got to go out and at least try and stamp some authority. I think if we were to lose tonight, and then we lose to Liverpool, and then we were to lose to, I think we play Aston Villa the week after, I think, Eric Ten Hag's in big trouble. So I think he does need to go and win this game tonight, even if we ultimately don't qualify. But yeah, let me know what your score predictions are in the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are. Are you feeling confident? Right, let's move over to the story about Mason Greenwood. So this is coming out from a couple of different journalists this morning. And the headline is that apparently Lazio are going to try and sign Mason Greenwood in January. It says that Lazio are looking to do a loan deal with an obligation to buy for around £15 million. So obviously he's on loan at Getafe at the moment. That loan can be made to end in January. And apparently Lazio are now going to come in with this loan to buy option. Now, if I was Getafe, I would just try and buy him. Like, if he's been doing well for them. He's still very, very young. I think, what is he, 22, Greenwood now? 21? He's probably their best player ever, isn't he, Mason Greenwood? Yeah, he's 22 years of age. I want you guys to let me know in the comment section, how much do you think Mason Greenwood is worth? Like, how much do you think is a fair price for Mason Greenwood? Or would you prefer him to come back to Manchester United? Let me know what you guys think. I personally think that from a footballing perspective, I think, he's probably one of our best attacking players, genuinely, even now. He's better than Antony. He's probably better than Rashford. He's better than Martial. He's better than Sancho. He's better than Højlund. Yeah, he's better than all of our attacking players, realistically, isn't he? All of our wide players, definitely. So from a footballing perspective, we probably should be bringing him back. Whether or not that will happen, I don't know. Jim Ratcliffe might decide to do it. Ultimately, he'll have the sporting side, under his authority. And, from what we're hearing, that Jim Ratcliffe won't be in until the January window now anyway. So is there a world where, Jim Ratcliffe comes in and one of the first things he does is bring back Mason Greenwood? I mean, it's a possibility. Of course it is. We know that Paul Mitchell, who is apparently going to become the director of football, was out in Getafe recently, and he was at the games scouting Mason Greenwood, which seems a little bit strange. Like, why would you do that if you had no intention of bringing him back? So, yeah. And obviously, the thing is, right, it was Richard Arnold and John Murtough who made the decision for him to stay. Then the public came out and said we weren't happy. People said, we're not happy with this. There was fan groups protesting against him. And then they backtracked on it and changed their mind. But the thing is, obviously, John Murtough and Richard Arnold are expected to leave. So they're backtracking on a decision that was made by somebody else. Do you know what I mean? Do you see where I'm going with this now? That decision was made by John Murtough and Richard Arnold, both of whom are going to leave. So if somebody new comes in and says, well, I've decided I want to do it, then there's not really much people can do about it. So I would say it's probably 50-50 at the moment, whether he, does come back in January or whether Manchester United sell him. I would say this, 15 million doesn't sound like very much for me. He's gone to Getafe and he's proven that he still is a very good player. As I just said, I genuinely think he's our best attacking player. At the age of 22, better than Anthony, better than, he's better than a lot of players. So I definitely think that from a footballing perspective, he should definitely be coming back. Whether Jim Ratcliffe will decide to do that or not, that's up for debate. I'd say it's 50-50 at this point. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But if you look at his stats from this season alone, he's got 5 goals and assists in 14 matches, which is decent when you think that Anthony hasn't got any goals and assists this season, but works hard. When you think that Rashford's got 1 goal, which was a penalty all season, so he's doing pretty well over in Getafe. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Al says the papers are saying we only want 20 million euros or 17 million pounds for Greenwood. We cannot replace him for that kind of money. Yeah, I hear you, mate. I do. I think for that kind of money, you're not going to get very far. Henrik says Greenwood would walk into our starting 11. Yes. Richie says Greenwood was valued at around 100 million plus at one point. Yeah, I know. It's absolutely crazy, isn't it? It's absolutely crazy. Sean says I would bring him back. Screw the noise. I mean, they might decide to do that. Somebody else says he should come back. We want him back. I don't think we win tonight. Fair enough. Okay. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section, guys. 15 million for Greenwood. That sounds like a bit of a joke, to be honest. Like, yeah, that sounds like an absolute joke. I would be looking for at least 30 to 50 million, at least. And as somebody just said in the chat, the fact that a couple of years ago he was, an 100 million pound player, he clearly still has the ability. He's doing it for a weak Getafe team over in La Liga, and now he's only worth 15 million. Now I know obviously there's this supposed, added baggage, if you want to call it that. There's this controversy around him, whatever you want to call it. There's off the field matters that have probably lowered his price, which I understand. I get that, but still, if he's already playing football in La Liga and there's no complaints, then why can't a bigger team in La Liga come in for him? Why can't a Real Madrid or a Barcelona come in for him? Obviously, there was a story a month or so ago saying that those types of clubs were interested in him. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But yeah, it's a very difficult one to read, isn't it? Because people think differently. Jim Ratcliffe might just come in and say, you know what? He was proved not guilty. Well, he wasn't proved not guilty. He wasn't convicted. That's the correct wording of it. He wasn't convicted. From what I can see, he's our best attacking player. He's still only 22 years of age. Bring him back. That could happen. And I think it would be difficult for some people to argue with that. Whether that's what you want personally or not, that's obviously up to you. I'm not going to kind of preach what you should or shouldn't think, because that's for you to make your own decision. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Right, let's move over to some positivity though. The really, really big bit of news this morning is that Martinez and Casemiro are both back in training. Really, really happy about this. They're both back on the grass. And I genuinely believe that when we see Casemiro and Martinez back in that starting 11, things will start to stabilise. Last season, we didn't play great football, but we did look quite stable throughout the year. And I think that was built on our defence. It was built on that partnership of Martinez, Varane and Casemiro. Those three last season got us top 4 in my opinion. Obviously Rashford got the goals as well, which was really, really good. But the fact that we're still playing Harry Maguire, Johnny Evans, Luke Shaw at left-sided centre-back and Lindelof, like that just kind of sums it up for me. And I just hope, that Martinez comes back and Varane and Martinez are our centre-back partnership again, because that really, really used to excite me. I used to really, really like that. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think Martinez and Varane will get back into the team, or do you think this is Maguire's place now for the rest of the season? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I think that Casemiro has to walk straight back into that team. I would drop McTominay, or I would put McTominay further up the pitch. I would put him as the striker, to be honest. I think Martial as a striker was pointless. So I would just have McTominay as the second attacking player. Don't bother signing Guirassy. Use Højlund and McTominay until the end of the season. He'll probably keep getting goals. He's been banging in the goals recently. And then have a midfield of either Amrabat and Casemiro or Mainu and Casemiro. That's what I would do. Oh, the camera's just on the move. Yeah, that would be my take on it. I just think that McTominay is completely wasted in that central midfield position. He doesn't like to play there. Al says, do you think Bayern will rest any players? Let's hope they do. I don't know, mate, to be honest. Like, Bayern's travelling squad is their first team, so I would probably say no. But obviously, we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. We've just got to hope that, well, one, that we win, and two, that Copenhagen and Galatasaray draw, because otherwise we're out. And we spoke about this on the show last night, and I'll get you guys' opinions on it now. Would you rather be out of Europe altogether, or would you rather go into the Europa? Let me know in the comment section. What would you prefer? So imagine we lose tonight. Would you rather be in the Europa League tomorrow morning, or would you rather have no European football at all? Let me know what you guys think tomorrow. Richie says the Turkish league have suspended indefinitely. I wonder how much that will affect Galatasaray tonight. Yeah, it's absolutely disgusting, isn't it? I don't know if anybody's seen it, but one of the football matches in Turkey in the top league, the Premier League of Turkey, all the players and the fans will start beating up the referee, which is absolutely mad. Like, that should never happen. And as Richie says in the chat, the Turkish league has now been suspended. I don't know. I don't think that. As I said, I think we'll win tonight, but I think that Galatasaray or Copenhagen will win in their game and we'll be out. So, yeah. Nick says, any youth striker instead of Martial, guaranteed effort at least. Yeah, I agree with you, mate. Martial's got to go. But the headline this morning is that Manchester United will 100% not be giving Martial a new contract. So Martial's deal expires in June and he'll be gone. We'll rub our hands of him. And you know what? I've seen people on my Twitter timeline the last couple of days saying that, like, Martial's a club legend and stuff, and like comparing him to David Beckham, saying that he's got the same amount of goals as Beckham in less games and stuff, and it's just like a bit embarrassing. Martial was good for 1 or 2 seasons. He was genuinely one of my favourite players, but to be comparing Anthony Martial to David Beckham, I just think is laughable personally. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Do you think Martial is a club legend? You're probably thinking, what the hell is this guy talking about? Just to be clear, this is what other people have been saying on my timeline this morning on Twitter, that apparently Martial is a club legend. Everybody who's just joined, can I ask you a favour? Please do smash a like on the video, and please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're only like 8 subscribers away from 21,000, so please do go and do that if you haven't already. Be a massive achievement to hit 21,000 by the end of this video if possible. So yeah, please go and do that if you haven't already. And big ups to everybody in this community. Let's see what people are saying. Al says, I don't want Europa. Jonathan says, I don't want Europa. Jonathan says, a different Jonathan says, Europa is another chance for Champions League. Fair enough. Joel says, Scott McTominay starts tonight. We lose the midfield battle and we lose the game. Yeah, that's probably realistic, mate. You've probably nailed it on there. Joel says, all the people who are saying he's a club legend are probably 16 or less. Yeah, I would imagine, yeah. Fred says, out altogether, second-rate competition. Yep. Somebody says, we can't defend Erik ten Hag anymore. He should stop using Scott McTominay and Martial. He is not a club legend. Yeah. Højlund will start tonight. I'm sure of it. Højlund will start tonight. Yeah. If Martial starts tonight and we don't see Højlund, then I will probably just go and bury my head in the garden, to be honest. Yeah, that would be absolute pain. We need to see Amrabat tonight. We need to see Kobe Mainoo tonight. If McTominay is going to play, he needs to play further up the pitch, because otherwise the game will be lost before we've even started it, in my opinion. We'll be so open. It'll be end-to-end football, and Bayern Munich are obviously got the better players, the better system, the better manager probably, and they'll beat us. It's as black and white as that. So yeah. Right, let's see what else we've got planned for on the show this evening. I'll read out a couple of your comments quickly, actually. Sean says Martial has no pace anymore. Yeah, I agree. Nick says Martial's a legend in the treatment room. Yeah. JT says Europa, we should be in Europa for better finances for next season. Joel says, why no Hannibal and not even a sniff for Dangor? I don't know, mate. Not sure, mate. Not sure. Right, I'm going to get a poll going quickly. Let's do a poll. Right. What would you prefer? So this scenario is if we lose tonight. Europa. No Europa. No European. All right. Get involved in the poll. The question is simple. So, say we lose to Bayern Munich tonight. Would you rather go into the Europa or would you rather have no European football at all? Let me know what you guys think. I'm 50-50 at the moment. I'm sitting on the fence with this one. I said it on the show last night. I genuinely don't even think we'd win the Europa. I think there's a lot better teams in the Europa than us at the moment. And when I actually looked at it, I think Europa Conference League is more our level at the moment. The teams in the Europa Conference League are like Real Betis. This is the Europa League. So Europa League's like Marseille, Brighton, Sporting Lisbon, Liverpool, West Ham, Villarreal, Roma, Bayern Leverkusen. Like all of those teams would beat us, I think, genuinely. And then if you look at the Europa Conference League, I genuinely think that's our level at the moment. I think we would go into that with a chance of winning it. I still don't think we'd 100% win it. You know, you've got teams like Aston Villa, Fiorentina, Lille, Ghent, Dynamo Zagreb, Club Brugge, like all of those teams, Besiktas, even like teams like that, you know, like some decent teams in the Conference League. And I genuinely believe that is probably our level at the moment. Obviously, there's no way that we can go into the Europa Conference League at the moment. It's, you know, we either go into the Europa League, qualify for the next round, or we're out of Europe altogether. But yeah, maybe that's looking at it a bit negatively. I just think that these more games for us is probably actually going to be worse in some ways. I think that if Erik ten Hag is to kind of save this season, I think he needs as much time on the training field as possible to kind of really drill these players. I don't know if anybody saw the videos yesterday that were circulating on Twitter. So obviously yesterday they had an open training session where all the journalists could go and watch the training, and there was loads of videos of the drills they were doing. They were trying to do this like one touch, like a one touch passing drill, where if you lose the ball, you swap with the player. And like, honestly, it was so bad. I would say every other kick, the ball was going like 10 meters out of the circle. And then somebody found a video of Ajax doing exactly the same drill when Erik ten Hag was there. And they were putting together like 30, 40 passes before the ball was being lost. Whereas when Manchester United were trying to do it yesterday, it was literally like 1 or 2 passes and the ball was being lost. And I'm not even exaggerating here. Like, it's absolutely mad. So for all the people saying, oh, it's Erik ten Hag, it's his tactics, it's not the players, there was literally this evidence on my timeline yesterday of Erik ten Hag trying to do exactly the same, drills in training as what he did at Ajax. You know, you could see Erik ten Hag in the background at Ajax there, and his Ajax team are doing, 40, 50 passes, one-touch passes within this circle before the player in the middle would get it back. It flips over to Manchester United, and literally every other pass, they were like miskicking it and kicking it like 10 meters out of the circle. Honestly, it was quite funny to watch, to be honest, but it just kind of proved what we all thought. Like, these players aren't good enough. And when Erik ten Hag said, you're never going to see I'm not going to play the Ajax style of football, it's because we don't have the players for the Ajax style of football. We just simply don't. Now, does that mean that Erik ten Hag just has to retract and go back to maybe counter-attacking football? He parks the bus and counter-attacks. I mean, to be honest, that's probably the only way that he's going to succeed at the moment, I think, with this batch of players. You park the bus, you get Bruno to kick the ball over the defence through to Rashford, and you score. Like, that's pretty much it. Saf says they look like they were just at the training session to have fun. Yeah, exactly. Sean says, rule number 1, do not buy players with bad touch, lack of pace and poor athleticism. They will not make it in the Premier League. And just to be clear, before people say, oh, he spent X amount of money, like, remember, the signings that Erik ten Hag made: Casemiro, injured; Martinez, injured; Eriksen, injured. So of the players that are kind of involved in this drill, the only ones that are Erik ten Hag signings were Anthony, who I think's first touch is good. And I don't think he was actually in this video, to be fair. But my point being here, people will say, oh, well, why did he sign these people if they can't do what he wants? I think that what I'm referring to is the majority of the people in these videos are people who've been here for 5 to 10 years. The McTominays, the Dallows, the Wan-Bissakas, I'm not, singling out people. I'm just giving you some names that have been here for a long time and been given new contracts. Obviously, Mason Mount, Sean says in the comments as well. 4 or 5 of Erik ten Hag's big signings are injured. So it's not like it was, Anthony, Mason Mount, Martinez, Casemiro doing this drill and they all couldn't do it. It was all the players from the previous managers and they all just couldn't do it. So yeah, that's the take on it. But obviously, as I said, Martinez is now back on the grass. So hopefully we see Martinez back, I think, in January. Casemiro is also back on the grass. Hopefully we see him back in January. Things are starting to look a little bit more up. And I do just wonder whether if we did have Europa football, is that just going to make players injured again? Is it going to overwork them? I don't know. It's impossible to say. Yeah. Java says, I would love to see Mabry, Mainu, Bayinda, Pelistri and Ahmad play football every Thursday night. I mean, yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, it is good experience for your younger players. Maybe you would go out and, give the younger people a go in the Europa and then, give the more senior players a go in the Premier League. And that with the expectation that eventually those younger players would break through and be the Premier League starting players. That's what you hope to happen. So yeah, Darren says, get knocked out of all cup competitions and concentrate on the league position. This squad doesn't have much. This squad doesn't have more than one competition in them. That's fair. And he also says, I've seen something about United lately, which is very Ajax. Harry Maguire continues in a forward move and often ends up attacking in our forward line. It's not working well, though. Yeah, the amount of times I've seen Harry Maguire playing as like a right winger in the last couple of games, and I'm thinking, how on earth have you got up there, mate? Like, get back. But it is what it is, isn't it? Yeah. I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. Thank you so much to everyone who's joined me on the show this morning. Please do make sure to smash a like on the video before you go. And please do subscribe to the channel. We're only 8 subscribers away from 21,000. So please go and subscribe now if you haven't already. I will read out the results from the poll really quickly. So 57% of you would prefer to have Europa. And 42% of you would rather know European football. So there you go. Obviously, I will be back live after the game tonight. There won't be a 6 o'clock show, I don't think, unless there's any big bits of news that come out. So yeah, I will speak to you after the game this evening. Hopefully it's a positive. Hopefully we're through to the next round. Have a lovely day, everybody. Thank you for joining me. This has been Daily Red Devil, and I'll speak to you all later.